Welcome
back.
She's been waiting.
Welcome back.
I haven't even got the welcome to.
I kind of sound like I had vocals just now, didn't I? Sound good. Oh.
Welcome. We're so excited that you decided to join us on the Village Podcast.
Village group chat. You just want to do us like that? Village group chat. You can see who be prepared and who is not.
All right, and I hope you guys are actually watching this. And I would recommend that you watch because you can see all of my facial expressions. You hear the anguish in my voice, but then now you can physically see it because it's dealing with just this drama, this extra stuff. But no, we are truly excited that you decided to join us. We are providing hope, encouragement, and sharing practical tips as we navigate our family's journey.
Yes, I'm your host, Selikka Wood.
And I am the other host, Mike Rodgers.
Yeah, you know you got on the application, you just hit other, you just check other. That would be my equivalent of
All right. Let's just jump on because they ain't here to hear all this us bickering, going back and forth. Let's get into something a little richer. Getting to know you. Really, it's giving you an opportunity to get to know us.
Yeah. All right. So the question for today is, when people find out what you do for a living, what's a common question that they ask you?
Oh, man.
Just one.
Oh.
I know it gotta be hard for pastors.
Man, when people find out that I am, and then again, they have an image, and I don't know if it was put on by Hollywood or it's just an image of what they think pastors do, or pastors don't do, or pastors. And unfortunately, there's been somebody in the media who's messed it up for all of us.
Lots of people.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, like usually when they'll say, "Hey, so what do you do?" I say, "Yeah." Sometimes I'll say I work for a church. Sometimes I will say, "Yeah, I'm a pastor for a church." But when they say, I pastor, I'm a family pastor at a local church, like automatically they like sit up and they be joking. They don't feel like they can joke with me anymore. They just kind of like all of the excitement kind of went out of the room, and they just sitting. Oh wow, wow, that's exciting. Yeah.
I wish you, for all of the people listening and not watching, I wish I could see the way he just set up.
Oh, it like I've gotten it so many different ways, and so it is. But again, like I'm a person at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I'm Mike. The role I serve, and I'm honored to serve in that role. But I want you to interact with me like how you interact with your friends, and that's one of the reasons why I got a group chat, on my phone, just to make sure I'm able to interact with people I grew up with. That conversation never get leaked. I don't know. You might be canceled, Mike. Pastor Mike. No, but I've heard pastors say that, like often, that people just completely change once they find out that they're a pastor. The conversations change. Oh, they putting away their cigarettes. They ain't cussing no more. Yeah. Whatever they was doing before, they change it up in your presence. But it's also a sign of respect, so that's not a bad thing. Yeah, that's real.
For me, because I too work for a church, the first thing I always get is, they pay you? They pay you? Yeah. I'm like, I feel like people, when they find out that you work for a church, they automatically think like you're getting paid from like love offerings or like in tithes or something. I'm like, we got health insurance, we got 401k, we got like, it's a job. Like this is work. I mean, it's ministry, and it's a different type of work, but this is work. It is not easy working in ministry. So that's something common that I get. Like, they pay you? I'm like, yeah. They think we taking up a collection plate every Sunday so we could pay our mortgage. Like, nah, we get a paycheck.
Yeah, that's funny. That's unique that you said that, but that is the benefit of working for a larger church too. We are able to employ so many different people in areas that they are very gifted and skilled in too. Yeah. But unfortunately, in the old school church, just one person had...
Everybody's a volunteer.
Oh, my goodness. Not only everybody a volunteer, one person served in all aspects of the ministry. Like, he was cooking food on one day. He'd be running the sound the next. Yeah. He'd be preaching on the other day. It's like really it has been a challenge for so long to give people the opportunity to really serve in their area of giftedness.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that leads us into our conversation though about gifts and talents and stuff.
I was about to say, hold on, before jumping right into the conversation, we gotta tell them how they can connect with us.
Oh yeah.
Look at that, you forgot it.
If you would like to connect with us, you want to email us, you can email us at villagegroupchat@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on IG at The Village Group Chat, or you can check out my personal page and see all my family's stuff, all of my to-dos, at no_ordinary_mom.
And you can check out me, hang with me at Mike J. Rodgers 1. That's Mike J. Rodgers, RODG. You know I'm going to repeat this after every time.
Don't forget the D.
RODGERS1 on Instagram. We would love to be able to connect with you.
And you vowed to start actually participating in social media and things like that, right? So let's get them going, guys. Y'all hit them up. Give them a follow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying. I'll try my best to do better.
That's all we can ask.
Yeah. Great. I'm excited about today's topic.
Yes.
I really think this is important. This is personal for me growing up in a large family. The topic and title that we have for today, They Are Good at Something. There was a show that's very popular amongst children nowadays. It's called the Loud House. Have you ever heard of that?
I have. My kids watch it, and they can break down every character on there, and
Yeah. So inside of this family, this larger family, I believe it's like 12, 13 kids. There's one child in particular, and a lot of what I'm talking about is based on this cartoon movie. I believe that came out last year, the Loud House movie. But really, the movie focused on this one child figuring out more about his identity, about where he's from, because it seemed like all of the other kids were good at something. Like they had a particular role to play inside of their family, but for him it was sort of unknown. And personally for me, I felt like that a lot when I was younger because of the different factors that influence the relationships inside of my family. I come from a large family, and my one of my brothers was good at playing drums or the congos, and music seemed pretty flow easily from him.
I'm about to tell it. I'm trying to.
She's been trying to put this out there. Just let me get through my spiel.
All right, go ahead. I'm out your way.
My spiel. All right. I
got something funny to tell y'all.
My older sister was very good at school and different things like that. Went on to pursue a nursing degree. One of my brothers could always draw, and he could always. This dude was very skilled and gifted, and he's one of the guys who's he's salsa dancing now.
Sings. He does it all. Yeah. He is a real life Wayne Brady. He does it all.
I'm gonna make sure he hears that it came from you.
Yeah, that's not an insult.
but yeah, he's very gifted with that. Another brother who's just very gifted, skilled when it comes to education. He's one of the guy's doctorate degree. My younger sister, skilled when it comes to doing hair. Still it works with nursing, all those different things. But then when
then there's Mike. Look, guys, I ran into his mom about 3 weeks ago, and I asked her a question about something else we had talked about on the podcast about how she would describe him. If y'all haven't heard it, I think it's on the second episode. And I asked how she would. I told her how he said he would describe himself as a kid. Well, actually, I told her that after I asked her the question. But I asked her how would she describe Mike as a kid, and she was just like, he was this kind of whiny. He always used to be like. Oh, what am I going to find my purpose? What am I good at? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's not what he said. So you were that kid that you are describing right now about you just didn't know what you were supposed to be doing.
Now that was a little dramatic with the whole whining. She
said, why can't I be like my brothers? My big brothers are so cool, and my little sisters are even cooler.
Now that was a little added extra, but no, the truth is, like, for a large portion of my life, like, I felt like, you hear that saying, the jack of trades,
jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades is really a master of nothing. But, I felt like I was kind of good at a lot of different things. So there wasn't one thing that stood out to me, especially when growing up. And so that it was, I wouldn't say it was painful. It was tough.
You cried many nights, didn't you? To your pillow. You
hear all this joking. You hear what I got to put up with.
You cried many nights.
Not, but real. I wouldn't cry, but
it's okay if you did.
It was tough, So you've heard a lot about me. Was that something that you could empathize with?
Yeah, I actually can. All jokes aside, because I have 4 step siblings, and then I also have 4 of my own siblings, and I'm directly in the middle of them. And I feel like sometimes it can, we hear it commonly that they get overlooked. But I feel like I definitely feel like I felt like that within maybe sometimes in my family, when you have a lot of kids in your family, I don't think it's also, I know I'm kind of like hopping around, but I also feel like when we were, like, you and I both are like 80s babies, we grew up in the 90s. I don't feel like it was as important for our parents to like really help us identify our passions and like what we were good at. I think that if it was something that came out, like maybe if you played sports or you had like a talent that was just like bold and blatant, like it was like, you're good at that. But if it was something that was like a little bit more, hidden, or something that needed to be developed, I don't feel like parents of that during that time really went out their way to try to help like develop it and encourage you in it. You know what I mean?
I believe that's accurate. That's real. Our parents were just trying to make ends meet. They didn't have as many opportunities. Their own lives. They didn't have as many opportunities as we do now. But that's real. They were if they noticed that you were good at something, they probably would push you in that. But then also, like, our economy wasn't as we didn't have as many opportunities as children nowadays, like soccer camps, or
it was just
physical training.
You're right.
Summer programs. Like, I remember the summer program for us was just go outside and be back before the lights come on,
riding your bikes or whatever. But don't you think like nowadays that parents are much more? It seems to be like much more intentional about just developing their kids' talents and passions and
I believe that's important. That parents need to be your child's advocates. Just making sure if you notice that they're good in a particular area, at least giving them opportunity to try it out. Now one of the things I do believe is important, like if you pay that money to get them in a camp, and then they found out, like, it's like a 8-week program. They found out after this week 2, they don't want to do it anymore. Nah, you need to
finish it out.
We paid this money. You're going to finish this thing out. Yeah. But, I think it's important for parents. So I know it's important for parents to, don't allow them to just drop out or start slacking off. Finish this thing out. And if it's not something that you want to do, let's have a conversation. Let's evaluate. All right, so before I just pay this money to sign up for next year, is there something else that you want to explore? Is there something else that you want to focus on? Is there something else that you want to do?
I think it's important to for kids to try all different types of things, and even if it just seems like something that's just out of the ordinary, I think it's important because sometimes you might have a gift or talent that you don't even know is there, but you've never given it a try because it's not as common as basketball or football or cheerleading. It may be something like, now we got gaming camps. You got people who are making like legit money off being influencers. Children as well, not just adults. It could be like chess club, like whatever. That's one of the things I'm very proud of, like with Sage, my oldest daughter. When I tell you, she done everything you can think of, and then by the time she got to high school, she was able to really hone in on what she really wanted to do. I mean, she was in math club, chess, karate, gymnastics. Like she had, not all at one time, but throughout the years, she was just so open to trying so many things. And I was just like, hey, if you like it, I love it. So I'm going to cheer you on, whatever you want to do. And that's something that I'm really, you know, I'm continuing with my younger kids. But I just don't ever want them to be afraid, like be that adult that is just kind of like, just because they never tried it, they automatically say they don't like it. Like you don't know what you like unless you at least give it a try. Like I'll try anything twice. Not once, not anything, you know, obviously. I ain't talking about like anything's detrimental to your life. But just be open-minded when it comes to trying new things.
Yeah, that's good. Exposure is key. And even just going a little deeper into that experience, what were some of the things that you exposed? I know you would use the example of Sage, but was the experience Sage had automatically passed down to the experiences for your two younger children?
No, because they're definitely different. I have kids. They're similar, and gosh, I guess I don't know if it's just because they were all raised by the same person, but they have very similar traits, but they're very, very different. And I try to treat them as such. They're three different kids. There's certain things that I will do the same with them. You know, when it comes to like love and compassion and the way I speak to them, it's certain things that is going to be like across the board. But when it comes to like developing their talents and gifts and things I see in them, I try to speak directly to that. Like with my youngest daughter, she's like uber creative and she's always on to the next thing. And she'll even, she's just one of those people. You remember like Freddie off A Different World, who was just kind of like, I don't want to use the word flighty, because she's not flighty. She's brilliant, but she's just, to the naked eye, it can look like she's all over the place, or that she appears like to be like clumsy. And I always make sure that I correct that, because no, you're not you're not clumsy. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody drops stuff. Like, I'll say something like, you have such a creative mind that you're always on to the next thing. You got to keep creating, and like, you don't have time for this. You don't have time to worry about things that other people are worrying about. But that's because I know that she's super creative. And my son, he's very structured. He likes things very neat. He's a gamer, super strategic. And I always try to make sure that I speak those things into existence for him. Like, I know you ain't gonna give up, because if it comes to a challenge, like, you gonna see that thing through. But I try to like do it in regular conversations, to not make it seem like I'm just being like a mom, like, good job, you can do anything that you put your mind to. I try to speak directly to those things that I see in them, in hopes that it'll develop, they'll develop the confidence in who they are and who God has created them to be.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I do believe it's important to really build confidence in our kids.
Because you can tear a kid down.
Oh yeah,
and not even know it. You can tear them down with your words and lack of encouragement, and not even realize you're doing it. And they will push that dream or desire or whatever they had to the side, all based on your reaction to what it is that they were interested in. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that was fitting, and that was accurate. You know, I even with building up your kids or my kids, I remember this one experience that I had where my daughter, she's very artistic, like able to color, and very skilled at that, and drawing, and then just so organized. I mean, she's 6 years old, and she has her own calendar in her room, and she basically crosses off each day. All right, so hey, we're done with Friday. So and then moving on to the next day. So we typically would sometimes we would ask her what's the date, and she would know what it is. I'm like, you're 6 years old. Like, I don't even remember the date. I use my phone. But I'll never forget this one experience we had when we were walking home from school, and she was, she had this inside of her room. She had like a kitchen set, like a small little kitchen set, and you know, the dishes, and so it was time for us to transition that kitchen set out of her room and give her something else, like this dollhouse that we thought she would love. And so, you know, she didn't want to get rid of the kitchen set, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pull this dad move while she's at school. I'm going to break that kitchen set down. And then, you know, I'm going to throw that thing away because it's time for us to move it out the room. And so, and so as we were walking home, I did share with her, hey, we moved your kitchen set out. And then she started crying, like right in the middle of the sidewalk while we were walking home. And so instead of me just trying to push through it or saying, hey, no, you need to cry when we get home, you know, no, you know, when people, and then literally people are walking past us, and then people are saying, hey, are you okay? Like, no, you know, but I gave her an opportunity to feel, and I wanted to understand what she's feel. And she literally was just there crying. And then as we were crying, or as she was crying and I was there talking with her, you know, I saw a change in her, giving her an opportunity to express what she's experienced, gave her the next opportunity to continue to look more positively at the fact that she doesn't have that kitchen set anymore. There's something bigger in her room. There's something better in her room, but I couldn't force that. I had to give her an opportunity to experience it. And so just the reason why I share that is because that's totally different than what my son would have done. She is totally different than him, but you know, my son, he just would have moved on with it. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next thing.
Right.
You know,
what's in it now?
Yeah. But for her, just understanding that she's wired differently gave me a better understanding of how I could approach this change that she's going to experience in life.
Yeah. And you know, even you doing that and acknowledging that, and those of us with multiple children, you having two, I have three, I think that you have to have a certain level of patience and be committed to really just trying to be what each kid needs you to be to them. You know what I mean? It's only one of us, but we have to remember and be committed to the fact of knowing, like, it's three of them, it's two, it's for you, it's two of them, that I have to, they each require something different from me, and it's our obligation to just try to meet that need that they may have.
Yeah, because they are our kids. You know, they didn't choose to come into this world. You know, that's something I believe that not only you and I do, but for us as parents, we need to be aware of.
Yeah, and it can get tiring. I don't want to give the impression that this is something like, oh, I just wake up like, how can I pour into my children today?
That's definitely
like,
the case.
No, it can be very, very emotionally draining to physically too, when you're trying to juggle multiple kids and their personalities and with, you know, their needs. But I also think it can be done. And it takes intention, it takes diligence, it takes commitment, and strength from God. It's been plenty of nights that I prayed, like, God, please just allow me to, for one thing, thank you for the gift of motherhood, and Lord, please give me what I need so that I can pour that into my children. Please allow me, like, whatever it is that they need from me, please allow me to have that to be able to give them.
I just got it. I got a new topic: the importance of self-care. You know, maybe we could come back and explore that. Like, what are some things as parents, you know, working a full-time job, then having kids that are growing and going into, you know, taking them from place to place, involved in different activities. What are some good good self-care activities that we could participate? Healthy self-care. That's important.
It can be draining.
That's important.
It can be draining, but it can be done.
It can be done.
You know, I'm a glass half full type of girl. It can be done.
And I'm a glass half empty.
That's your problem now.
I'm joking. I am joking. I really am joking. But
so, what's your encouragement for the day?
My encouragement to all parents is just to remember that our children are not carbon copies of us. They're not. I mean, they are people, they are individuals, and basically what was what some of the things that we may have experienced when we were younger, some of the things that we may like, give them an avenue or opening or opportunity to choose what it is that they like. Now, again, I'm not talking about like right or wrong, but preferences, so exposing them to different options, but, don't just be so dogmatic that you lock them into be carbon copies of you. I'll never forget this one experience I had when I was, when I was at one of my nephew's basketball games, and it's always intense. And again, he wasn't that old. I believe he was like in 6th grade, 7th grade, and I saw this one kid who was very gifted, very skilled individual, point guard of the team, and he was killing it. He had like 25 points, 15 assists, 5 rebounds, 6 steals. And so in anybody's book, that was a phenomenal game. Just to be able to produce on so many levels in so many areas. He was extremely gifted. And so I saw this dad that was just walking around kind of stressed out and very frustrated. And I knew this was his, that was his son, who was killing it. And so, man, I walked up to him and was like, man, after the game was over, I said, man, your son did a great job. And dad was like, no, he didn't.
Oh, man.
Like, well, hold on now. You watching the same game that I was watching?
Yeah.
But I was like, well, I mean, he had 25 points. But he was like, man, but he had too many turnovers. I was like, oh, my goodness, man. Yeah. And in that moment, I saw, and I knew the dad was going to say it. He's like, when I was playing basketball, I was like, man, come on, man. How do you even know that your son loves the game? Now, he's good at it, but how do you know that he likes this? How do you know it's something that he's going to want to carry on and do for the rest of his life?
And at that point, even if he loved it, he could be assisting his child hating it just because of who it turns his father into every time he's not happy with him.
Exactly. And so, yeah. They're not carbon copies of us.
Yeah.
You got to remember that.
Yeah, I would echo that sentiment. And I think that along with that, just kind of like the piggyback off of it, is I think when children don't meet whatever it is, whatever expectation you have of them, be accepting of who they are. Acceptance will take you you so far. When you think about a lot of times when I hear things with children with depression, not just children, I'll say people with depression and anxiety, a lot of it is like the people who love them most aren't accepting of the person that they are and the things that, that goes hand in hand with the things that you like. But when you accept a person in their wholeness, even though it's opposite of what it is that you may have chose for them or chose for yourself, I think that's love. Like acceptance and love go hand in hand. So when we talk about gifts and talents and purpose, it may not be packaged the way that you hoped that it would be, but accept it anyway. Accept your child and the people that you love for who they are in their fullness.
I agree. And I would love to hear from you guys, hear some feedback, and just see really how this experience has been impacting you, how this conversation is impacting you, and just, what's it like inside of your household, inside of your environment. And that's private for a lot of people too. But we would.
But what are you good at? No, that's the question we need to ask. What are you good at?
You're part of our village. You're part of our village.
Something you're good at. Whether you just realizing it as an adult, or maybe it's something that's been inside of you since you were a child and you realized it early on. What are you good at? So I guess that's the episode. If you want to reach out to us and give us some topic suggestions or maybe just some positive feedback, encouragement, we wholeheartedly accept it. We need somebody to run our social media, so if you're interested in doing that, you can email us letting us know you're interested at villagegroupchat@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on IG. You can slide in that DM if you're interested.
No, hold on, don't be sliding in DMs. All right, just be careful. All right,
you can hit us up on IG at the Village Group Chat, and you can connect with me on IG at no_ordinary_mom, and Mike
You can connect with me, Mike J. Rodgers 1, Mike J. RODGERS 1 on Instagram. We'd love to connect with you.
Yes, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. We'll talk to you next Friday.
All right. Take care. Have a good one.